boy. Good evening, boys and girls. My name is Jason Walker. It's another episode of The Rocket Minute. I'm going to be honest with you. I want this episode to be private. I don't want to be disturbed. Anyway, I wear my glasses to see, but I can't see with them, so figure that out and get back to me. What we're going to do today, because I forgot my cutting pliers to cut the zip ties off these silly things. What I'm going to do is we're going to go ahead and free up your tools. Go ahead and start using them. I just fell, I don't know where. Hold on. This is going to be about an hour long episode. I'll edit it down if I feel like it. If not, I won't. This is my trusty cabinet. I went and bought, for $2, I bought a turquoise trash can to put in my trusty cabinet. We'll be modifying the cabinet later, but you know, I don't want to show videos about modifying tools. This is supposed to be the Rocket Minute, so we're gonna show stuff about that. And we're cutting off the little zip ties I ceremonially install in an effort to store these tools in a manner that is orderly. You get tired of your tools very quickly if they're not stored in a fashion where they're taken care of and cataloged and easily accessible. You have to service your workshop on a regular basis. I gotta tell you, it's hot, so I'm gonna go ahead and open up the window. I think, I'll open up the door. Turn on the light. But anyway, there we go. So production value, that's a tricky trick. What we're gonna do, now I'm gonna put this over here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna make a single engine, single fuselage rocket. No, I don't want this open. I'm sorry, I changed my mind. I gotta open up this window because it's hot. It's starting to be that time of the year when it gets hot in California. We had an exceptionally rainy season, and now we're paying for it with some heat. So anyway, also discovered how to clean my carpet. Yay. Let me show the material we're going to be working with. We are using these for this fellow right here. Let me share with you the individual parts. Pay close attention. This is stuff that you get from Lowe's. You do not get this from Home Depot. I had a bad experience with Home Depot. I was in Santa Ana Home Depot on Harvard Boulevard. They called the police on me. Santa Ana police, they're pretty cool. Police didn't do anything, he just stood there and kind of looked at me and looked like he was taking a report, and that was enough to scare me off. But you know what? I've been shopping at Home Depot for 30 years, and I spent thousands and thousands of dollars there. They just lost my business. So they can KMA, they can come off Footy Pass. I mean, they can take a flying leap. Don't go to Home Depot. Don't buy anything from them. They've got a really rickety, lopsided return policy. Their prices aren't any better. Their selection's not as good as Lowe's. And I've just taken sides against them. After doing business with them for 30 years, I've given up on them. Somebody suggested, well, build rockets in the parking lot and you'll generate some business that way. But I haven't generated any business. I've curried Home Depot's disfavor. I applied for work there back in 2008, and they said, we can only apply here once. We turn you down. You can never apply again. So you know what? I'm never going to apply again. I'm applying for a government grant for aerospace research and development. I hope it comes through. I'm not going to tell you how much it is. But I'm done. I'm done dealing with small-minded people who can't get past their own diapers. They can't manage their mind to see the bigger picture, which is the progression of aerospace. But all things being equal, and they probably are not, I don't really care at this point. So what we're going to do, we're going to square sand the end of this. This is what we're going to do tonight. This guy is the main fuselage. We're going to square sand both ends of the main fuselage section. This looks like this has already been done on this end, but lo and behold, it's a little lopsided. So we're going to use the square sander for that. We'll get that out later. But what I really need to do, and Paxton is in the way, I'm just going to put that off to the side. Paxton is over there. I don't know where Valencia is. I need to cut a section of this off for the motor tube, and I'm going to go up, I would say, probably about 8 inches, which is right there. So plug your ears, this thing is pretty loud. Okay, I don't need the whole section of this. I've got more of it sitting out. You can hear my echo from the hard tile floor in the living area. I just want to show you and to do a repeat performance to show you how to build one single motor basic rocket. Wow, that was just a really sloppy cut. I have to do that a second time because otherwise I'm going to have to grind with the square sander to see that. A spiral cut. Let's try this again. Like I said, we're just going to build one single engine rocket. This is going to be the motor housing. Now that I've cut this, what else? Oh, I was telling you about these guys. I bet you're wondering what these are. Well, if they look like plates, you would be absolutely correct. They are. They're from Target and Harbor Boulevard in Costa Mesa. 50 cents each, so they are comparable to the. Actually, I think they're almost the same ones that come from Walmart. Well, Walmart has them for 50 cents or maybe 49 cents, so save an extra 2 pennies. Go to Walmart. Walmart's a great place. Just the people there are just very not helpful. They're the worst employees of all time, but they have great stuff, and you just get along the best you can. But I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with these. Let's see. I have lug material. This is going to be our motor right here. I don't know if you can see from that distance. This is what I spent some time on. But the motor is not going to necessarily fit in this housing. The motor's going to screw into the back end of it. Let's sand the back end of this so that we can start fitting the fitting in here for the motor housing. So we're not doing all cutting tonight. But let me get that. Let me get a hold of that. When I think my reach is finally no longer exceeding my grasp. And here we go. This guy right here, match up with this guy. This guy is going to go in here like that. But how in the world am I going to make it fit? You can see that. That's a irrigation fitting from Lowe's. Hopefully Lowe's has staying power and realizes that I'm good to them because I've been doing business with them for about 20 years. I don't understand why people don't appreciate customers, but people just have rules. They have to have rules. You know, Californians are really strange. I'm really not related to this batch of mother scratching nincompoops. They have this almost spiritual need. And they wake up in the morning and say, "Dear Lord, please help me be brave enough to tell at least one stranger what to do today. Now I'll feel better about myself." That's probably part of their morning prayer routine. Californians are really unusual. They have to tell you what to do. They have to make up arbitrary rules. It's a nanny state. They have to foster drug addicts, especially when they become homeless, but they don't do anything about drugs, and such and so forth. It's a really bad state to live in. I got to tell you, I have to denounce California. I'm moving out. I'm not really welcome to say, "Well, Jason, you're saying stuff like this, they're going to kick you out." Well, as far as I'm concerned, about 10 years ago, when I started rekindling my fire to build rockets again and list them and sell them, and now teach this show, they pretty much kicked me out then. California's made it very clear that, under the rule of certain parties, political parties that shall not be mentioned, that they're not really interested in business. They're interested in maybe either, is taking the state back to the Stone Ages, where we lived in mud thatch huts, and they're trying to run business out on a railroad track and stuff like that. I'm not really a round table repartee kind of guy, but you kind of get my drift. So what we're going to do, we're going to square sand the ends of this. We're going to wrap this with fiberglass tape and glue it in here, and we're going to sand that down and install the motor. This motor's been cleaned up fairly well. I'm not really going to do anything to it. The threads have been sanded down a little bit, but I'll show you how that works in a second. Anyway, let's set this tool aside. I'll actually set it in the teal blue trash can. This is a launch lug, but it hasn't been square sanded either. I tell you, I'm having a really hard time with that. So the motor housing and the launch lug, we'll show you what to do with that. So here we go. We've got to plug this in, square sand both ends. Here we go. Okay, so hold on. Okay, oh, that's right. I thought this plug wasn't working the other day, and it turns out my drill, I'm going to secure the collar for the plug seal, because it keeps yanking on the wiring, the actual wires itself, and it pulled out on one side, so I fixed that. Interesting. I gotta tell you, all these tools are really loud. I've got sensitive upstairs neighbors, so I want to make sure and do all the heavy machining work and fabrication before I do the assembly, so that I'm not doing that loud work late at night and disturbing the neighbors. So around 10 o'clock, you have upstairs neighbors. Good rule of thumb is lights out, no noise at around 10 o'clock. 10 p.m. is a good thing. You want to get along with your neighbors. So, okay, so kind of square sanded that. I'm not really happy with it looks. Oh boy, I tell you, we'll keep trying this. Sorry, I'm not really happy yet. Yeah, that has to be better. As always, here's what we do. This is the deburring tool, inner diameter a little bit, down the tabletop. Deburring tool a little bit on the table, not very much. Boy, I'm really mad at these people. They put these stickers on, you can't take them off, and they look really ugly. So I'm going to install this in this, and I'm going to go ahead and glue it in place. I'm just going to sand this whole thing down lengthwise to get the surface prepared for adhesion. And I'm going to roll the window open a little bit more because it's really, really hot in here. There we go. People wonder what the hell I'm doing. Am I talking to myself? No, I'm talking to you. Now, this is where I'm going to sit down, use a little bit of precision, and also the toys parts over here. Box knife, cheap pair of scissors, you can get these. Walmart, $2, or you get $1 pair of scissors, really cheap scissors, heavier duty at Harbor Freight. Box knife, $2. You just have to maintain these and keep the glue off them, which is tricky. And the next step I do, or I perform, involves glue, and it's tricky. So here we go. What we're going to do is we're going to shim this up with fiberglass tape, and I'll show you how to do that, and I'll show you why we're going to do that. This stuff, I got 2 rolls for $1 a piece from 99-cent store. I don't see it there anymore. 99-cent store, they do buyouts, store closings, inventory buyouts, and such and so forth. And they get stuff for like pennies for the pound. So when they do offer stuff, they don't have to. It doesn't. Even if they're to mark it up, 500%, it costs them less than a penny. So they'll sell you a $1 item that would cost you maybe $5 or $6 somewhere else, and only costs 10 cents or 5 cents to make, and everybody's happy. They're making money, and you're getting a very, very inexpensive supply of part. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this. Oh boy, no, I wrapped it the wrong way. Here we go. Okay, underslung like this. Look where the tape is coming from. I have it wrapped so that technically I'm going to be wrapping it clockwise while drawing off the tape, and the fiberglass tape is going to be unraveling in a clockwise fashion, and I'm just going to roll and press the tension like that. You want this stuff lined up, but you also absolutely positively also want this tape to be wrapped tightly. You don't want to have any air gaps or arcs in between the layers of tape. And the other thing is too, along the lines of what we say, measure twice, cut once. When you're performing this task, it's better to wrap it too tight, because you can always subtract and just cut it a little bit, peel it up and cut it a little bit shorter. If you wrap too short, you're gonna have to put another layer on, and that kind of creates for unevenness and inconsistencies around the circumference of the base of the part we're trying to glue. Okay, so I'm looking at this, I'm eyeballing this. Some of the stuff you got to do by trial and error, and some of it you got to do by feel. But like I said, wrap it tighter than you think it needs to be. That way it'll be one continuous piece, even if you have to subtract from it. If you wrap it too loose, if you wrap it with too few wrappings, then you have to build it up. You can't continue off the old piece. You just want one continuous piece. That makes for the best, easiest installation, this particular type of procedure. And again, it's hard to explain ahead of time what exactly I'm doing, but if I just show it to you, long ways away. There we go. I think this is probably going to be too tight, which is okay. And oh my goodness, well, I'm going to eat my own words, too loose. Now look at that, I just screw it up. I got to take my own advice sometimes. Okay, so here we go. The upper part of the roll of tape, unrolling in counterclockwise fashion. Let me see, where the heck, where's this tape start? That's the other problem with this tape, it's very, very hard to make a determination. Oh, there it is, right there, I see it. I think this is it. Oh, okay, maybe this is it. I won't spend too much time doing this, guys. Come on. By the way, I have a nice vacuum cleaner. I want to vacuum this whole work area up afterwards. You might want to consider doing the same. Even if you're on sealed concrete, don't let crap and grime build up in your shop, because it's going to become a very discouraging work environment. I cannot seem to find. Oh my God, this too, huh? I cannot seem to find the beginning of this tape. I'll cut that string off. Like I said, this stuff can be challenging to work with, but it's rewarding at the same time. Just, well, I'm going to have to do something I don't want to do, so I'm making 2 mistakes now. Cut myself an area where I start unpeeling this tape, which won't be a bad thing because eventually it'll help you find the beginning where the tape actually is. Wrap this tape in the same direction you're wrapping the tape before. There's now no longer one continuous piece. So I must emphasize again, be careful and make sure to just overwrap the fiberglass tape, and see it's already bunching up under the old roll of tape. Also, I'm going to cut down this work shelf. It's probably going to lose about 5 inches of height, so it's better visible what I'm doing. The other thing is it's more comfortable for me because I'm not a really tall person. I'm a little on the short side, about a little under 5'10". Okay, so here we're rolling okay. Well, now I'm going to have to make this work because guess what? Oh no, maybe not. Okay, there you go. So doing this has in fact helped me find the side of this tape and where it starts. But again, I have to find a way to mark this tape because the underside of the tape that's facing towards the center of the roll itself, the cardboard roll, that's the sticky side. That's the side you want. Let me check the fit. And what do you know, it's almost a little too tight. It is, and it's a little too tight. Okay, so we back off. We back off about 4 inches at a time, 4 to 5 inches at a time, until it gets narrow enough to fit loosely. And I'll throw that in the trash with the power tools. I'll throw the power tools away. And you go ahead and roll that in there. No, it's still too tight. Amazing. Okay, so now it's doubling up, so I'm thinking I want to be real careful at this point. I don't want to go back and forth and make it too slim again. Okay, I'm going to have to make that work. The other thing is I want to go ahead and clean up the edge. That's exactly what I'm going to do. Okay, so this pair of scissors works out really nicely. Nicely. What's wrong with me? Okay, so now, this is the kind of stuff that drives you mad if you don't have a lot of patience and long suffering. I kind of cut the edge off with the slope of the end of the piece. That way it doesn't bunch up when you try to install it in the motor tube, the upper motor tube, or motor housing tubing. Jeez, I'm an engineer, I don't even know what to call my own stuff. And what do we got? Well, look at what we got. I can't tell you, man. We're not doing too good on this one. It still has to go a little bit skinnier. So there we go. There's that. Let's just go another 3, 4. Let's go another 4 inches. And there we go. The 4-inch interval seems to be working fine, but you see what I mean? And the next time you do this, if you're going to be manufacturing the same type of rocket over and over again, you might want to memorize exactly how much length of this fiberglass tape you're going to need for next project. And let's see, well, like that. And now that's a nice, that's good enough. I'm not gonna fool around with it any longer. It's still a little loose, but it'll take up the slack. Actually, let me do this again. I'm sorry. There we go. All right, here we go. Let's just put another little something on here. One for the books, as they say. Okay, so just one layer. Look at that, and then I just cut it off at that. You want everything clean, even if this is going to be an internal part. You're not really going to see any of this shtick or stuff. You know, after you've finished assembling the rocket, that's kind of not really the point. The point is, if you're going to get into aerospace, you have to understand that assembly. Of course, if you want to be an engineer, that's a different type of discipline. But assembly and maintenance and repair of airframes, a rocket or helicopter or aircraft, anything that is considered aerospace, you're only as good as what you build and how well you build it. So I'm going to check the fit of this, but I got to tell you, there you go. This is a rolling fit. That's a rolling fit. That's exactly what you want. Let me put it in there and roll it around. And remember, you don't just yank it out straight either. because you're going to mess something up. I put that on there because the back side of this tape, again, the surface of this tape, the side of the tape that is closest to the center of the cardboard ring itself, the side of the tape facing that direction, is covered. It has some type of adhesive on it. So you want to wrap around the subject in that direction. And let's just see, let me just get this as clean as I possibly can. I'm kind of getting a lot more anal retentive in my old age. I'm 53 years old, by the way. You know, and by now, by that age, you really should know. You should know better. You should know what you're doing, and you should be embarrassed if you don't. At the age of 53, you should know everything. The world should be your oyster. Maybe it isn't, but that's really your problem at this point, because you're 53. Come on, get it together. All right, so now here comes the part where you take the cap off. Razor's edge, you punch a hole in this stuff. It's called HFT. It's disposable packaged cyanoacrylate. This stuff is $0.10 a dozen. You can get 3 of them for $1.49 Harbor Freight, or you can go ahead and get yourself a 10-pack for $2, another 51 cents. I go for the 10-pack when I can afford it. So we're just going to do the inner diameter here, close towards the end of the tube itself. Here we go. We've got the tape, the tree tools, and the fiberglass tape. Now, let's make absolutely sure that we're rolling this in the direction that's most favorable for this tape, because we do not want it bunching up while we're rolling it and installing it. And I guess what I can't really tell. So I'm just going to take a chance and roll this counterclockwise. And I think I might be incorrect on that. But no, I am correct. But look at that. Just roll, roll, roll. You keep rolling it. Now, why is my phone making a sound like that? Okay, so there you go. Now, I want to show you why I did that. This has mating NPT threads that this will be able to mate to. That'll hold that rocket in the base of this rocket right here. Like that. And we'll put that up there like that so it doesn't stick out that far. Okay? And actually, you know what I'm thinking? Let's just do a quick sand on this thing. We don't have to do it that much, because I'll show you what we're going to do next. But this is where I'm going to make noise. Let me inspect the camera and make sure. Am I still recording? Yeah, it looks like I am. Okay. Hi, how you doing? This is what I look like with my glasses on. Okay, I kind of feel like I'm doing the right thing now, but what was I going to do? Oh, that's right. Cut this guy loose. I already did. Reach over and put some trash in the trash. I'm going to take these tools out of the trash can. I like to flippy floppy tools. So, here we go. Cordless tools. You can get this for $25. If you get a cordless palm sander, you're looking at $80 for the tool, plus 2 battery packs at $125. A charger for another $100. So you're going to be spending $300 for a cordless tool, and guess what? You still have to find a place to plug in the charger. You know, let the tool sit or become down for the count until the battery pack's charged. I don't get it. I don't see what the attraction of cordless tools are when they're that darned expensive. Here we go. good sandpaper, I'll wet all that stuff down and we'll have ourselves a pot. Right now this is workshop, not lecture. That's been straightened out. It's like it's all sand, it's not sand. Okay, that's enough. Wow, that chill is loud. We'll just leave it right there. I have wet rag. Wet rags, or excuse me, damp rags are always important. Don't ask what they're good and important for. Okay, that has sort of a rough finished surface to it. That's kind of what you want. Hold on a second, I'll be right back. I'm going to rinse this off and then scrub it down too. I'll be right back. I know where Valencia is. That's Paxton's sister. She's in the kitchen near the kitchen sink, laying on the rug I put down in front of the kitchen sink. If I take my any of my clothes off and set them down anywhere for more than 5 minutes, or if I take any article of clothing off and set it down on the bed, within 5 minutes they'll both be laying on it. The cats are curious. So, yeah, okay, so I dried this off. So here's what we're going to do next. Let that dry for a little bit. We've got that tape. But what we're going to do is we're going to use, let me check the clearance. I want to make sure. Okay, so that looks like just, oh, I'm sorry, buddy. I'm kidding, Paxton when he's trying to lay down. They need comfort. Cats need a quiet, secure environment to live in, and I ain't got it. So, oh well, that's funny. Not really. You don't know why I have this thing out. I'll just set it down there for now. These plates, we're going to be cutting fins for the rocket. Let me go ahead. I would like to square cut the end of this particular piece, or this particular roll of double-sided tape. Guys, you're going to need double-sided tape. There's just kind of no way around it. You're going to need a block sander. You're going to need sandpaper. You're going to need a knife, a ruler, a marker. And you're going to need these materials from Lowe's, the thin wall PVC, and their respective pieces for the motor housing. The motor housing itself, the removable part of the motor housing, which is this guy right here, with that end, you get a male and female end. They're NPT 3/4 inch. That's kind of the standard for anything from 18 millimeter rocket, 18 millimeter motors, 24 millimeter motors, 29 millimeter motors. If you want to build anything above a 29 millimeter motor, well, we can show you how to do that too. But I like to start this class off with the basics. It's not a quick process, and I'm not going to lie to you. If your heart is not into building rockets, if you don't enjoy it with a passion, you're not going to make it. You got to find what you have passion about. If you're passionate about rocketry, you're tuned into the right channel on YouTube. So here we go. Now what I'm going to do, drink some more hot chocolate. I've gotten off of caffeine, and so far so good. But I got to tell you, the best thing about getting off caffeine is the fact that my normal sleep patterns have been restored. And I get up really early. I get up at 7:30 with a routine. I'm sure my Uncle David would love to hear that. I have to give him a call anyway and give him an update on certain things. Okay, so this female end, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this with just one layer of double-sided tape, and I'll make sure that the ends are butted up against each other. Okay, this is having a hard time sticking. This black sandal plastic, it's like an ABS. It's very, very difficult, apparently, to get stuff to stick to it. It might be because it's still moist, or it might be because it's just being a wiener. Either way, um, I'll be careful. And there we go. See, it still wants to come unwrapped. I just, you know what I think? I just think I didn't. I may need to invest in a heat gun because I don't think I dried this part off enough. ABS is porous. It's an excellent plastic, but like all plastics, it has varying characteristics that make it usable for certain things, but not usable for others. So let me see. Yeah, this stuff just not. Yeah. Okay, this stuff. You know what I think it is? That just comes right off. Yeah, I think it's wet. And that's what the problem is. Let me use part of my shirt and really get this silly thing dried off. Oh my goodness, people. Okay, so just really, really, really dried off and taken care of. Um, Also, we're going to have to shim up this motor too, um, in an effort. You know what, somehow, somewhere, I suspect this stuff is just like permanently wet. Um, I don't know if you're seeing things. I don't know. Yeah, it's moist. ABS is porous. PVC is not. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cover it up anyway. Try this again. And maybe put a second bead of tape right in front of it on the PVC, and just pull it really, really tight. And let's hope this sticks. Again, you know, box cutting knives are just as good as X-Acto knives. They cost a lot less, and they're less likely to injure you, even if you don't use them properly. They're designed to be idiot-proof and have years and years of good track record. See, yeah, I'm telling you, this kind of makes me angry. Some plastic, for whatever reason, some plastic is just not repairable. Some stuff like you see it a lot on cars, a black plastic on cars, especially on Toyotas. You could use aerospace glue and prep the surfaces of black plastic on Toyotas, and they design that plastic that has some type of oil in it, some type of Teflon, to where you simply cannot get any type of glue, no matter how strong, to make it stick. You can be pouring super glue on it all day long, heat gun, cyanoacrylate accelerator and stuff, and it will not work. And the reason for that being, I'm pretty sure, is that they want you to go to the dealership and spend $100 on a 5-cent part. That's how it makes them rich. Okay, so this wants to come off. Alright, so I have to put a second layer, which is kind of good news in a way, bad news in another, because I cannot get this stuff to behave. It wants to stick to my fingers, not to the surface underneath, and that makes me mad. But I don't know. Here we go. Oh, goodness, I just hate plastic like that. And when we get done shimming this up, we're gonna square sand both ends, and then we're gonna figure out carousels or what do you call it? Bulkhead plates. Some designs whereby we can anchor the base to the shock cord for the parachute, the recovery part of the recovery system. Um, we're gonna be. I gotta tell you guys right now, we're gonna be fighting this one tooth and nail. And you know what? I cut it all the way through, so that is gonna work against me. Shucks, I should have known better. You know what? I should have just cut this piece of tape and then installed it. But this stuff just does not want to stick on. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put a little at that, it just wants to come right off. Unbelievable. Okay, so hold on. There's just something about this plastic. It doesn't want to adhere or bond to this tape. So I'm going to put a little bit of super glue underneath it. Now it's going to slop out. I'm just going to pull over on this side. Put glue on that. A lot of this stuff, is again just trial and error. You have the mindset to be an aerospace engineer. I mean, you'll be patient enough to work this stuff out. Like I said, though, if you don't have an interest in engineering or designing or assembly or machining, and somebody's just telling you, hey, build rockets, it'll be fun, it'll keep you out of trouble, it's not going to work out for you, I guarantee it. So it requires a tremendous amount of concentration, discipline, and skill, and stick-to-itiveness. I've been building rockets for a little over 23 years now, and I can tell you I love it with a passion, but it requires a certain level of stick-to-itiveness and discipline that is not going to carry over in real life if you don't have a sincere talent and passion for this particular type of, shall I say, career pursuit to begin with. If you're something else, then pursue that something else. But I'm not even going to say that because I don't feel like chasing away my audience or any potential young little aerospace engineers, which is, by the way, what this country desperately needs right now. They're trying to figure that out. And I believe there are a lot of people out there that are every bit as talented as I am. They just haven't been given the chance, or they haven't come to a clear understanding of themselves. Self-realization is not one of their strong suits, but being a potentially great potential aerospace engineer is. Thus is the human condition. And by the way, the message for women of all ages, if your family is telling you it's ugly for a woman to be smart, I would say that you need to start fighting your family. You need to start fighting them immediately. I don't know what else to tell you. Your family is telling you what you are or not. It's not their place. You determine what kind of person you are. That's advice for everybody. Nobody else tells you. Nobody else gives you permission to be who you are. You tell yourself that. Even God wouldn't interfere with that. So if you want to be an aerospace engineer or a scientist, you go ahead and you go out and do that. And I guess that counts for the boys too. But I'm not really impressed by certain cultures that have come into this country that repress their children and tell them, well, you can't do that because of your gender. I don't like that. I think men and women alike are equal in the sight of God, and they can do anything they set their mind to. And by the way, aerospace engineers is not a club. It's open membership. So, well, it is a club, but it's open membership, and we don't exclude anybody, especially the girls. We want girls. We like girls. We like women aerospace engineers. So, come one, come all, ladies. Anyway, okay, so that's that. So I've shimmed this up. This is going to be, for lack of a better word, a very, very, very tight fit. It's going to be a buttery fit, as a matter of fact. But here's the thing. I'm gonna do something that's kind of crazy. So I'm gonna go ahead and do it. This is kind of a first for me too. This is the motor tube right here. The female end of the windy part, the female end of the MPT threaded portion of the motor tube, the female end is in the motor tube itself, firmly glued in place with the cyanoacrylate, which is super glue, and the and fiberglass tape, which is an ordeal. But the more you do these, the more you build rockets like this, the more practice you get, the better you'll become. But this is a tricky part. This is something I haven't even done yet, and if I fail, we'll have to try again. And I should also, there's one other thing I should be doing, but I'm not going to do it. Now, mind you, what I'm about to do is primitive, low budget, low technology, but here we go. I'm sorry. I don't know if that even looks right. I didn't mean to do that. You want to lubricate the end of this, and you know what? I don't think that's going to work. God dang it, I think it's too wide. Hold on. Let me see if I can compress this some more. Oh boy, I guess. No, it's not gonna work. Not gonna work. However, not wanting to give up, we'll try something. This is gonna be a really tight fit. Folks, you can't always get all the parts and supplies you want and need. Since these are irrigation and plumbing sections of tubing, they happen to be thin walled, so they're suitable for a rocket airframe, but because they're not made to order, they didn't intend for these parts to be used in a rocket, which is going to scare off almost all of my audience, because that they didn't design them for that purpose. However, the alternative is to get body tubes from places like Estes or Quest or even Aerotech, and that's fine. Or Public Missiles, that's fine too. But I tend to be a homemade type of person. It kind of takes the fun out of doing things. The other thing is it's really, really expensive. It adds up. It gets expensive. So be careful on that front. Here's what we're going to do, because I just want to get this taken care of. We're going to use a little bit of butter, and we're going to really, really just kind of compress and ram this in. It's supposed to stick, but we might have to figure something out in that regard. I think I got some. This is a food grade butter. What else would butter use? What else would butter be used for, right? Here we go. Spread the butter on that like that. All right, there we go. All right, there we go. Never thought I'd be a 53-year-old male bumbling with butter on rocket parts. The reason I use double-sided shape to shim, honest to goodness truth, it does just as good as little craft paper. Actually, does better than craft paper bulkhead rings. Those craft paper bulkhead rings, if you try to make them yourself, you need specialized equipment to do that, and that's expensive. I'm trying to use affordable supplies and affordable construction methods, so as to encourage people, not scare them away. The other thing is, I guess because of the trade wars with China, stuff's just starting to get expensive. So anyway, here we go. I'm rolling this in, and it looks like this is barely going to work. This may be a mistake. Oh wow, my goodness, this is a tight fit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the motor out. I'm sorry, guys. I don't mean to experiment with your patience here, but I am going to take this out, and I may only put this in so far. Here's what I'm going to do. I don't know, that's too tall. Okay, so I'm going to have to go ahead and stand this up here. Stand this up like that. Put that in like that. And kind of wipe the butter off the end of that. Wow, is it a cooking show or are we building rockets? Jeez. Okay, that was an awfully tight fit, but this is important. I'm sure we can figure something out. Now, I want to run the motor in, and this is the kind of dangerous, tricky part. I've got another motor I can use besides this one. Now, I might have to just keep this one as a tool. There you go. And run this one in till such a time. Okay, there you go. Okay. So there. Okay, so now I got this nonsense all over me. And I'll show you the reason why I did that. It had nothing to do with the CG or the CP calculations for the rocket. I will show you this. Let's see, hold on. I say to have a marker, and I don't have a marker. I'm actually going to come closer to the camera here for this next one. Jason. I could have used my hammer, and I could use my marker. I'm going to keep doing this every night. We're going to keep building rocket after rocket, and I will list them on either Mercari or when my paperwork comes in for my Amazon account. I'll give you the information on that. You can check out what we're building, and we can do things that way. Whatever floats your boat. Okay, so that. No, I want to look for the other pen that means it when it marks. Guys, I have a red marker, I have a black marker, and for goodness sake, I didn't bring either one of them. That just makes me upset. Okay, so here we're going to go ahead and mark. Okay, mark the depth. And the reason why I'm doing this, I'll show you. I'm going to get out the black tape, which is also the electrical tape. Actually, just okay, there we go. Still in the process of setting up a workstation that is conducive to both creativity, safety, and my sanity. And we're not done. We haven't finished fastening in this upper motor tube housing, so we're gonna do that later. I kind of want to wipe this out. I think I'm gonna heat gun it too. Actually, that's another argument to get a heat gun. But anyway, let's wrap this towel up. And we can kind of put the butter away too. Let me just lubricate it a little bit though. Butter on the end of it. That just lubricates the threads. But moly grease, synthetic axle bearing grease. This thing's probably going to end up falling over again. One thing you'll notice about round stuff, it loves to fall and it loves to roll. Very frustrating. How dare they? I'm entitled to violate the laws of physics. That little piece of legislation just hasn't gone through yet, though. Okay, so now where I've marked it. Okay, so where I've marked it, I'm going to show you something. Now, electrical tape comes in all colors, so I really don't care what color tape you use. But here's the point. You have to shim this up as well. Wide, thin shims are very, very difficult to make out of phenolic. Again, you need specialized equipment for that, and it's that's what discourages people. They think, well, I don't have a machine shop, so I can't build this myself. So you leave off doing something like this. But the problem is, if the entry level for any particular type of trade or career move is too high, it discourages newcomers from even giving it a second thought. They automatically say something like, well, I'm not smart enough or I'm not good enough. Well, that's not really true. That's just kind of what you perceive based on the fact that you think it's complicated. The complicated part is not expressing yourself through creativity. The complicated part is getting an opportunity to do that to begin with. And for whatever reason, this culture is absolutely exceedingly very, very talented at preventing people from reaching their own natural levels of talent and accomplishment, because they make it so damn hard to get there to begin with. You do need education. You want to prove to other people that you have follow through and discipline, but at the same time, people can have a PhD and be complete knuckleheads. I believe me, I've experienced it firsthand. So it's not that you need a college education so much as you need talent. You need to show your employers the fact you have a passion and talent for what you do. You can take direction. You can solve problems. You have leadership skills. You have communication skills. You can inspire people, and you can get things done. But there are also aerospace companies right now. They're looking for raw talent. They're looking for people who have ideas better than flying cars with surfboard wings. Eliminating problems with landing gear on 737s. I mean, Boeing is. I respect them to a certain extent, but these are rookie errors. This is the mistakes you make on the computer, not in real life. And Boeing is a very, very established company. So, but anyway, that's my commentary. Now this is electrical tape Again, I'm going to wrap this to where I know it's way too wide. I'm going to subtract. I don't want to make the same mistake I did with uh, the thank goodness, with the uh, fiberglass tape, which I keep forgetting the name of that. To organize everything here. And supplies here, glue here, hot cocoa there. There we go. Here we go. Here we go. So now I know this is going to be too thick, so I keep subtracting for the same continuous roll of tape until such time as it fits. And again, I'm going to show you why. I'll put that there, neat and orderly. When we run it in here, oh, what do you know? It's way too wide. You know, you don't want to make it too wide because you do end up wasting supplies. Don't do that. There we go. Let's just really take it down. Look at how much electrical tape I'm wasting. Try to cut the tape at a right angle, which is not something I just did. So don't listen to my advice. Listen to my advice. Don't do what I do. That makes me a healthy hypocrite. I don't think this is going to fit either, but I'll explain the reason for doing this in a second. The motor that goes in a hole with slack on all the sides, well, it's not going to transfer heat, so you don't have to worry about it, but it's going to toggle back and forth. You need some type of a bracing from the inner diameter, the actual rocket fuselage tube, to keep the motor centered and keep the rocket from, doing the cha-cha when it's launching, wiggling a hot chili or whatever you want to call it, or dancing broomstick when it's launching off the launch pad. It's kind of doing this. An unstable flight makes for a lot of entertainment, but it really doesn't give you that sense of pride and accomplishment. Oh, the other thing I think I remembered mentioning that I should have mentioned, you got threads that go counterclockwise in. Wrap the tape clockwise so the head end of the tape doesn't interfere. And guess what I just did? I wrapped the tape in the wrong direction. So here we go. Okay. Okay, so hold on. Okay, so it is going in. The problem is it's a little tight. So let me back it off just a little bit. That's I don't want you to have to fight this. When you pull the motor out, it should be a fairly easy, simple operation. However, in addition to that, it should also
power off.
Okay, thank goodness. That's why the hell that thing decided to turn off is beyond me. That wasn't Alexa. That's one of my Bluetooth speakers that enhances the quality of life in my workshop, which is right now in the office. Remember, square cut that as best as you can. We value workmanship around here. No, I cannot seem to do that. You know, the day I can take my own advice is the day pigs fly. They pull it off. I don't like that. We're going to call the video at this point only because nature calls. I need to use the little boy's room in kind of a desperate way. These things are important. That is as good as it is going to get. There you go. There's a little treasure trove there. So now, again, why do I do this? I know it makes the motor tube look funny. Why do I do this? Because look at this. It's in there. Now it's too loose. Okay, hold on. I forget. The electrical tape is a little bit thinner, or a little bit thicker than I usually estimate it to be. So now, okay, so this is a problem. Okay, so this is a chance for me to correct my mistake. So remember, wrap the tape counterclockwise because you're going to be turning the tube clockwise to remove it, and it's just not. Okay, so there you go. Now, okay, so I was able to correct that mistake because I cut it too short. Square cut, square cut, square cut. Roll that back on there like that. If this is too tight, well, I'll bet it is. No, that's just perfect. Now look at that, it rolls right in, and now you have a removable motor system plus a fuselage we fabricated. So what we're going to end up doing with this rocket tomorrow night, if I don't continue working on it tonight, I am going to fabricate. I am going to sand down the fuselage and fabricate the fins. Then we're going to have to figure out how to fabricate a nose cone, and we're going to show you how to install fins. But at this point in time, um, like I said, nature calls, I must answer. So I'm going to call it quits at this point. My name is Jason Waltler. I have been your host. This has been another episode of the Rocket Minute. Hope you didn't find it too dry or boring. We'll talk to you later. Oh, wow.